Housing market forecast for 2024 with Holly McCann Realtor. I'm really excited to share with you guys what's happening and what's forecasted by Stephen Thomas, my favorite go-to economist for our local Orange County housing market. And I've got all the details in the report at the link below. So he has forecasted 3 different scenarios. I've never seen him do this, but he's hedging his bets, protecting himself, making sure he comes out on top. I don't blame you, Stephen, to make sure that depending on what the government does, what the Fed does, he's got a different forecast for each different version. So I've got all these details below and I want to make sure I get them right. So I'm sharing with you directly from his report. So scenario 1, economy cools during spring. He says that's a 50% chance. So if the economy cools enough during spring, he says, look for mortgage rates to drop to between 6 and 6.5%. And inflation continues to ease. As the U.S. economy weakens, yet does not slip into a deep recession, expect rates to fall below 6.5% and below 5% during the year's second half. That would be super exciting and amazing for many of you homeowners that have been waiting for rates to drop before you make a move, even though your house may not be perfect, because it's so hard to give up your low interest rate mortgage. I get it. I feel you. I'm in the same boat. Demand for this scenario. Buyer demand will pick up substantially during the spring market as rates remain below 6.5% with duration. The housing market will heat up, similar to the COVID years between 2020 and the first half of 2022, due to increased affordability. Multiple offers and bidding wars will prevail, and buyers will be willing to stretch on price to secure a home. So what does that do to home values? He says they'll rise to between 4 and 7% for the year. That's scenario 1. Scenario 2, economy cools during the summer. He predicts that there's a 45% chance of this happening. He says mortgage rates will bump between 6.5 and 7.5 for the first 5 months of the year until the economy noticeably cools during the summer. From there, look for mortgage rates to drop between 6 and 6.5% when the economy cools and inflation eases. As the U.S. economy weakens, yet does not slip into a deep recession, expect rates to fall below 6.5% and below 5% at the end of the year. He really thinks we're going to get interest rates down below 5, which that would be really fun and enjoyable for many people to be able to move. The demand in this scenario will be sluggish during the spring market as rates bounce between 6.5% and 7.5%. He says it will pick up substantially during the summer market when the rates drop. What does this do for home values in this scenario? He says home values will rise between 1 and 4% for the year because we're not getting that pickup in home sales and affordability with the interest rates dropping until summer. So we have less of the year for the prices to increase. And then the third scenario, which he says is only a 5% chance of happening, is the economy to cool during the fall. Interest rates. Mortgage rates will bump between 6.5% and 7.5% for the first 8 months of the year until the economy noticeably cools during the autumn. From there, look for mortgage rates to drop between 6 and 6.5% with a cooler economy and easing inflation. Mortgage rates will remain above 6% for the year. Demand will be sluggish during spring and summer and pick up during the autumn when the rates drop. And last of all, what does that do for home values? With this scenario, he says home values will drop between 0 and 3% for the year. So if we wait for the first 8 months of the year in that scenario 3, we're going to have no significant house appreciation. Yet, that scenario, he says, has a 3% chance of happening. So he says 95% we're going to have home values rising anywhere between 1 to 4%, and then his other version was 4 to 7%. So if you're a home buyer and you're waiting for something to get better in the future, the more you wait, it's likely that home appreciation is going to happen at a faster rate than you can save money, depending on your situation. But to save money and pay taxes on it to equal out to your home appreciation, which most of the time is tax-free, depending on your situation, is really hard. And let's face it, it's a lot easier to sit in a home and have tax-free appreciation than to go out and work for your money, make a lot of money, pay tax on it, and then end up with that same amount of money. So watch for a future video and I'll put together a couple scenarios for you guys about that. So there you have it, the 2024 housing market forecast. It looks like on average, he's expecting the home appreciation to be at about 4%, depending on which scenario we land at. Personally, I think it might be a little higher, but we'll see what happens. Get the whole report at the link down below and make sure you subscribe for more great real estate videos. Thanks for watching.